What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down what's going on with the overall market, how this may affect NIO, why tomorrow is going to be an absolutely massive day as we have CPI coming out. I'm going to break down why it's going to be so huge and how it's going to affect NIO. I'm also going to break down some big news that came out affecting NIO and why tomorrow is going to be massive. Now, before I break anything down about NIO, before I talk about SPY and Tesla and NIO and the QQQ, let me just mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. And finally, don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. Put in $100 and you're guaranteed 5 free stocks with a $100 cash reward. The offer ends in just a couple of weeks. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. All right, NIO is up 8.67% for the day, once again holding up quite nicely. This was after the news came out that NIO has slashed the EV prices and they've removed the key free battery swap service. Now, what does this have to do with anything? Well, honestly, guys, I'm kind of frustrated that it took them this long to finally do this. I've been calling this for quite a while because NIO sales were declining, like crazy. And NIO revealed that they're going to be slashing their prices on all models by $4,200. That's good news. It's going to help boost their sales for sure. But the problem is it took them too long. They first said, they're not going to do it. They're not going to participate in any price cuts, any price wars. And now they finally budged. So, like I said before, it took them way too long to do this. However, now that they finally did this, I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm hoping we get some better numbers now, more deliveries. I also noted to everyone that NIO told us that deliveries are going to be very strong for the second half of the year. Let's see if that happens. Could they get a 20,000 delivery month sometime this year? That would be sick. And finally, we need to see if they can reach the 25,000 delivery target that they set for this quarter, for the second quarter. We're going to have to wait and see if they manage to do it. I'm going to be impressed, and I'm going to be a lot more optimistic and happy. If they fail to do it, I'm going to be a little bit more concerned. However, I'm not losing faith in the company. I think they have a lot of good models. They have good technology. Give it time, and we'll see what this company gives us. But let's get some good numbers, NIO. I'm counting on you. Let's work hard, and I believe they can do it. Now, as far as the overall market goes, what also helped NIO hold up would be the market pumping. The market believes the Fed is going to pause. There's a 74.6% chance the Fed is about to pause, 25% chance the Fed will not do that. So there are some people talking about a potential Fed skip. Well, the thing is, the market is not going to be looking at it as a skip. They either pause in June or they raise the rate, because we won't know if they skipped until the July meeting. Right? We don't know if they're going to give us more rate hikes in July, and the Fed is definitely not going to confirm that until July time, because they have to look at the data and react to it. That's exactly what Jerome Powell is going to say. So for that reason, we're either going to get the hike, and that's going to depend a lot on CPI right now. If we get a hot CPI, the Fed is going to be incentivized to hike the rate again by 25 basis points. If we get a decent CPI, we're going to most likely see the Fed pause. I'm leaning more in that direction, but I need to see the data to be confirmed. Now, why did the market also pump? Consumer inflationary expectations. The report came out at 11 o'clock a.m. today, and the market ended up pumping. I called this yesterday. I told you guys tomorrow the data is coming out. Get ready. It came. Market pumped. NIO pumped. It wasn't just for that reason. There were other reasons too. NIO is doing all right so far. Now for tomorrow, this all could change depending on CPI, so make sure you're ready for that. At 1 hour before the market opens at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, CPI is coming out. If CPI is hot, the market's going to get rug pulled. We're going to get a big drop. If CPI is decent, the market's going to hold up. The market could even pump more. CPI right now, the current forecast is 4.3%. I'm going to be looking at that one more specifically. And also for core, the forecast is 5.4%. Let's hope we get what we want. Let's hope we get a decent report. Market will pump more. Market's going to explode if we get it, because then the Fed is going to be incentivized to pause. But if it's hot, if it's at 4.4% or higher on CPI, and if core is at 5.4% or higher, maybe like 5.5%, 5.6%, etc., the market's going to get a rug pull. So make sure you are prepared for this. Make sure you are ready. NIO has good volume, 100 million in volume. It's getting lots of buying pressure. Short volume is dropping. And on top of that, what else is interesting is I mentioned to you guys we saw over 24 million NIO shares shorted. And despite all the shorts piling in, NIO is starting to squeeze. So there's a lot of squeeze pressure. Lots of shorts are covering. And this is, once again, great news for NIO. For other headlines, I didn't see much else. I mean, everything else is just like, new, or I'm sorry, old. I already knew about all of this stuff. We already knew about this. Some analysts have good expectations for NIO in the future, but they are a little concerned. Overall, let's talk about the data now. Let's talk about the levels to watch for on SPY, NIO, the QQQ, and Tesla, just briefly. If SPY is, well, it's going to depend on the data, right? If we get a good CPI, the Fed is going to be inclined to pause. If we get both of those, SPY is going to be well on its way to 442, and if it breaks that, 450 is going to come. Market's going to explode. If CPI comes out, because we are technically forming this bearish divergence, but it's not confirmed just yet. If CPI comes out hot and the market gets rug pulled, it's going to come back down to 420 and the 420s and then 410s after that, and come all the way down to the 1 hour 50 EMA, or even lower than that, right? It's going to be bad if we get a hot CPI. It all depends on tomorrow. I don't really know what's going to happen, but I'm leaning more bullish, but I don't know for sure because every chart is bullish on the hourly, the daily, the weekly. It's all bullish. I don't have to like show everything. You guys get the point. There's no sign of weakness in this chart, so we'll have to wait and see. If we get it tomorrow, a very good report. Watch 435, 436.25, 436.64, 438, and potentially 440 after that. If bearish, if it's very bearish, watch 432 as support. If that fails us, 430, 429, 428.5, 427.89, 427.5, and potentially 426. I apologize about the background noise. By the way, someone's doing construction outside of my window again, but it's okay. I still want to record this as fast as possible anyways. For Tesla, the big Tesla, if we are bullish on Tesla tomorrow, if we get a good CPI, Tesla's going to break and hold 250. If it holds 250, this thing is going to make its way up to 254, 257.65, 260, 262, then potentially 266. And if we get the Fed pause with a good CPI, Tesla's going to pump all the way up to 276. If it breaks that, you're going to be watching 290 to 300. Potentially, if we get the Fed pause, we could see Tesla pump like crazy over the next couple of weeks. But first, we have to watch 275, around that area, 275 to 276. Now, if Tesla comes down and we get a hot CPI to start us off, watch support around this 247.5 area, 246 zone, 244.5, then we have 242.5, then the gap fell down to 240, the 236 area, and even lower than that if we get a hot CPI. For the QQQ, if we get a good CPI, watch 361, 363, 364.69, all the way up to 370 plus for the next few weeks if we get a Fed pause as well. If we get the opposite and the market ends up getting rug pulled because of a hot CPI, make sure you watch support at 359.16, 357.5, 355.5, 354, 353, and etc., all the way back down to like the 350 to 349 area, or even lower than that. We're going to get a big rug pull if we get a hot CPI. And finally, for NIO, what's going on with NIO? Well, over the last few weeks, I told you guys that NIO had a nice setup. Remember, I told you we had that inverse head and shoulder. NIO has this accumulation, and we have this unfilled gap all the way up here in this chop zone around 8.8. If NIO is bullish after CPI, NIO is going to be testing 8.75. If it breaks that, we're going to see 8.8, the chop zone, 9 to 9.25 afterwards, and it could even go higher to 9.5 if we start breaking a lot of these levels. If we're bearish and NIO comes down, watch support at 8.2. If 8.2 fails us, it'll come down to about $8, which is where the 200 EMA is on the hourly time frame. And if that fails us, 7.92, 7.73, 7.5, and then 7.38 and etc. Right? I'm not really seeing NIO crashing. I'm leaning more bullish, but I'm hoping it's more bullish. But we have to wait on CPI. It looks like a bullish accumulation right here, the inverse head and shoulders like formation, and it's currently still holding up quite nicely. It looks like this nice cup and handle formed, and it looks like it's going to keep pushing. Let's hope we get a good CPI and it's going to help NIO. All right. So I told you guys the bullish and bearish cases. The technicals look very bullish. So I am leaning more in that direction, but there's no guarantees in the market. So we have to wait for confirmation once CPI comes out tomorrow morning before the market opens. All right, guys. So I hope that's as clear as possible. Get ready for CPI. It's going to be huge. It may help NIO explode all the way up to $9 or very close to $9 if it breaks 8.8 around that zone. And overall, it's looking quite nice for a decent setup. I'm ready. Get ready tomorrow morning, once again, an hour before the market opens at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, or depending on where you are in the world, it's going to be an hour before open. CPI is going to be huge. The Fed's policies will be huge, and just get ready. Thank you all so much for listening. NIO to the moon, as the long term is very bright. Same thing for Tesla, SPY in the QQQ, and peace out.